cases against political opponents, 5 lakh cases. They have weaponized the justice system against Hindus. The heightened crackdown on media is reflected through this data. 348 journalists, there are cases against them. Lynching has increased by 131%. Over 2,000 attacks on Hindus have been reported. 24 people arrested in 34 cases under cyber security, meaningless cases. 21 judges have been removed for doing their job, and all NHRC members have been forced to resign. Human rights. 44 policemen have been killed in the July-August 24 uprising. Hindus and indigenous protesters attacked in Dhaka, Rangpur, and Chittagong. Hindu priest Chinmoy Das arrested in sedition charges. Anti-discrimination student movement engaged in illegal activities, usurping the power. But why 5 lakh people have been arrested? On this issue, I have a panel of people who understand Bangladesh. I'm joined by Ambassador Veena Sikri, former High Commissioner of India to Bangladesh, and Suhas Chakma, Director Rights and Risk Analysis Group. First to you, Suhas, 5 lakh political activists. Is this the prelude to the national election? That the elections are held, or these 5 lakh people are behind the bar, or they are neutralized politically, so don't even think of going out and casting their votes? Is that the context?
Well, there are two contexts. One context is to annihilate, exterminate anything connected with Awami League, and that's why you have seen the cases against these two actresses. That's one part. The other part is they have filed these cases against political opponents, which is I think about 15,000 cases, but they have filed these cases against 5 lakhs political opposition, and they are using these cases first of all to target them and also to extort money. So you basically go to the police station and you file a case, you name possibly about 50 or 60 people who are named, then you name about 1,000 people more. So anybody whom you consider as a political opponent, you can target those persons. So this is in a way, this is not something which was been done by Sheikh Hasina. So that's why I think, we have to understand that there were serious human rights violations under Hasina, but Dr. Yunus has crossed all the records of Hasina. And that's also in 6 months' time. I have not seen Sheikh Hasina file regime in 15 years filing cases against 5 lakh persons. And the worst thing is, anything happens in Bangladesh, Yunus has an excuse, and that excuse is basically we are not responsible for it because these are private cases. That's why private individuals are filing. So if the Hindus are being attacked, these are politically motivated. Someone doesn't own anything, and it lets the the mob basically to decide. So one of the findings which we had in the report is that things which cannot be done legally by Yunus government because they will face questions, they do it through illegal means of this anti-discrimination students movement. So I can tell you, the judges have to resign, the journalists have been sacked on the spot. Prathamalu and the Daily Stars were attacked by Hassan Abdullah, and Hassan Abdullah was not successful only in one particular case, that is seeking the resignation of the president of Bangladesh. Otherwise, anything which Yunus wants to get it done, he just has to ensure that some students go up there, and that's why It's complete anarchy.
Ambassador Sikri,
Yeah.
why 5 lakh people have been framed?
Well, let me tell you quite clearly. I think it's very good that the RAG has brought out this excellent press release on this occasion and has appealed to the UN Human Rights Commission on this subject. I think that all these indications, all the listings of the arrests and other things are an indication of the complete failure of the Yunus led interim regime. They call themselves an interim government. Complete failure of this regime to get any support whatsoever from the people of Bangladesh. And they are getting more and more panicky, and they're getting more and more aggressive against their own people because the people don't support them. The people are very unhappy that Yunus regime is turning against all the remnants of the Awami League, and every inch, every memento of the 1971 liberation war is being attacked and destroyed. This turmoil that happened on the 5th of February, which was a 6-month anniversary of the date when Sheikh Hasina left Dhaka, this was the tracking of the memorial museum, the home of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. On the 5th of August, they tried to burn it. But on the 5th of February, 6 months later, they have physically destroyed it. And let me tell you, how can they physically destroy such a strong building? They have brought in bulldozers. Now, who has given them these bulldozers? It is the government bulldozers. It is the municipal administration bulldozers. And after the huge hue and cry in the country and outside, about these attacks on Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's residence and on other homes of the Awami League, including the homes of the two actresses who have now been detained. I mean, after all this, now Mohammed Yunus today made a very, anodyne statement. Oh, it is very bad. Don't destroy property. If it happens again, we'll take action. But for 2 days, they let the destruction continue. They gave them assistance. They gave them bulldozers. How can you actually see this happening without the staunch help of the administration? And I must tell you that even when the army went there, the army did go there to try and stop them. And these students against discrimination movement, this Jatiya Nagrik committee, they even booed the army. They wouldn't let them get near. So the army just stood by because otherwise there would have been a great amount of destruction of individuals. So I think that this shows that there is complete anarchy. I agree with Mr. Suhash Rakma that there is complete anarchy in Bangladesh. There is just
Okay.
no control.
Ambassador, you were speaking about army. You were speaking about army. Suhas, why has army enabled the mobs? Is army part and parcel of this process?
Army is part and parcel of the process in the sense that the army themselves are divided, and the army cannot take any actions against, the students, because if you take actions against the students, then you will be prosecuted. There is no, situation on the ground where you could touch any one of the members of the students who are associated with this anti-discrimination students movement. So therefore, army, some of whom, even if might have been, quite, sympathetic towards the liberation movement. After all, many of their army personnel, forefathers might have fought for it, but they could not take action because it's Yunus who is allowing the students to set the agenda. So therefore, I think each time unfortunate incidents happen, and he issues a statement condemning those incidents. Now, the job of the Prime Minister of the country is not to condemn. The job of the Prime Minister is to take action. So, therefore, I think we, For example, with respect to the demolition of the house of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the video footages are there, the destructions were taking place today morning itself, things were being looted this morning itself, and everybody has been covered. Why can't you go and arrest them? You do not have to wait for the next incident. So what Yunus is trying to do is very simple. He doesn't want to hold elections. He wants to remain in power. He will not even possibly allow BNP to protest. If the BNP, organizes protest from next month, you would see the kind of crackdown, and there will be virtual civil war because the students or the mobs have been organized. So the question is, it's not even a large number of mobs. It's just some people going there and claiming themselves as the students, and they are not the students. Please, by no stretch of imagination, who went to demolish the house of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, they were not students. They were party workers of the Jamaat Islami, and they were members of the Islamic Chhatra Shibir. They were not the students. So that's why I think we have to bear in mind is that he is not enabling the mob. He himself is the mobster. The Nobel laureate Dr. Yunus is the mobster because anybody with basic conscience, little bit of conscience, cannot allow some of the activities which are being done by the students. Because if you have little bit belief in the rule of law, you will allow the law to take its own course, and you would prevent from crimes taking place. And he is not doing that. He is allowing each and everything. For example, some ITB had certain journalists. Hassan Abdullah went and threatened the owners of the Some ITB, and 5 journalists were sacked. He went and attacked the Daily Star and Potomalu. So nobody is safe in Bangladesh from these students. So that's why I said, one of the critical
Okay.
findings which he made is things which Yunus cannot do legally, he is doing it
He's
through.
getting it done through the mob. So the question is, Ambassador
Yeah,
Sikri,
absolutely.
why is BNP become so inert? I mean, to say,
Well,
how, I thought that they will step into the vacuum, but then they have not stepped in.
Well, I think BNP on the 5th of August last year, when all this happened and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina had to leave the country, they thought that they were with the Jamaat Islami and their old alliance, because they were in government together between 2001 to 2006. So they thought that this is going to be a repetition of the old alliance, and they're going to stay there and benefit from and come to power very quickly. But very quickly, we saw that the real power behind the throne was Jamaat Islami. And they were not interested in having the BNP with them on board at all. They were wanting to, in fact, consolidate the Islamist forces within Bangladesh. And the Amir of the Jamaat Islami has been having meetings, calling all the smaller Islamist parties together and saying that they are going to fight together. And the students against students against discrimination movement, I fully agree with Mr. Suhas Chakma that they're not students at all. They are members of the Islamic Chhatra Shibir, they are members of the students' wing of the Jamaat Islami, and the students who were there earlier in the quota reform movement have completely given up this organization. They are back as students in their university, and the Islamic Chhatra Shibir now wants a caliphate in Bangladesh. They want Sharia law. We have seen that the special assistant to Professor Muhammad Yunus, Mahfuz Alam, who is now an advisor in the government, has actually put out tweets about this. He had put out tweets calling for a caliphate. He would put out tweets saying that we are even ready to have a civil war because this is what they want. And I think that this is why the situation in Bangladesh today is very dangerous, because they're trying to deliberately provoke not the BNP, but the students wing of the Jamaat Islami. And the BNP has come out with a statement. We know that 2 or 3 leaders of the BNP are, as we speak, they are in Washington, D.C. They have gone to Washington, D.C. gone there for the national prayer meeting organized, and I think it was addressed by President Trump 2 days ago. And I think that I'm sure they're going to have some discussions there as well. They in Dhaka, they have come out with a statement today, and they have said it is a complete failure of democracy. They've said it's a complete failure of democracy, and in fact it is. There is no stability in Bangladesh. There is no prosperity in Bangladesh. The economy is tanking, and there is no democracy in Bangladesh. There's a complete anarchy, and I think the UN Human Rights Commission, the UN itself has to take note of what is going on. This cannot be allowed to continue. I think for India, it has a very serious consequences for our border regions, for all the demonstrations that have been taking place.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, madam. I've run short of time, but the strategic embrace that is taking place between Bangladesh and Pakistan is not